A very merry Un-Pollinator week to you. Hi everyone, Susie here with St. Louis Native Plants with my buddy, a milkweed plant. A lot of folks were celebrating Pollinator Week last week, which is wonderful. And there are 52 weeks in the year, and only one of those weeks is devoted to celebrating pollinators. So I thought we would go ahead and have a little tea party with some unpollinators and use this week, Un-Pollinator Week, to celebrate some other insects, and some of them may happen to be these pollen shifters that we call pollinators, but they also might have some other traits that could be highlighted or just really cool and fascinating and interesting about them. So I want to take some time this week to focus on these unpollinators. So here we go. Let's look at our first one. So here we have a milkweed bug, which if you have milkweed in your yard, frequently you will see these little bugs show up. They're very fascinating bugs. They can feed on different parts of milkweed plants, but they will primarily feed on the seeds. While the seeds are still in the pods, they'll and I'm talking about these pods, right as shown here. So we've got those developing pods. So these bugs have a straw-like tongue that they will inject into the seeds, and they will actually digest the seeds outside of their body, and then they will suck the juices out of them once they've done that. So they're really fascinating bugs. Again, this is something that you will see feeding on milkweed, so sometimes it can kind of freak people out because they don't necessarily want other things devouring their plants, but something to keep in mind is that all insects to some degree tend to be struggling right now, or at least a great number of them, because of things like loss in habitat. Here we got some more here. Things like loss of habitat or using pesticides and spraying. So if we can, incorporate more things like milkweed into our yard, they'll support more insects than just monarchs. And that's a really great thing, because that actually supports nature and what it does best, and using its system of checks and balances. Something that these bugs are doing when they're feeding on the seeds is they're making sure that this plant doesn't get too out of control, because there will be some seeds that will carry forth and will be whole and be able to reproduce for the plant, but then there will be other seeds that won't because they've been eaten by this bug. So that's all for today. Be sure to join me for my next featured unpollinator. And a very merry Un-Pollinator week to you.